Welcome to the Do Good X podcast, a sanctuary from the entrepreneurial grind. Hosts Kimberly Danielle and Stephen Lewis, advocates for impactful entrepreneurship, guide you on the path where purpose meets business. Join us to slow down, reconnect, and explore the challenges of under-resourced entrepreneurs, uncovering the unique journey of building businesses that make a difference. Now, your host.
Welcome to the Do Good X podcast. My name is Kimberly Danielle, and I am a community builder, a communication strategist, and a coach who comes from generations of faith-driven leaders and entrepreneurs who believe that our purpose should drive us to contribute to the common good. And as always, I'm here with my lovely co-host, Stephen.
Hey, Kimberly, it's good to see you. You know, I'm a catalyst for positive change in communities and businesses, and for over 2 decades, I've inspired leaders and entrepreneurs to live and work on purpose with intention, faith, and a commitment to their well-being. Today, we're bringing back a rich conversation from season 1 with Dar'shun Kendrick, who is an attorney, a capital strategist, and a founder of Kairos Capital Legal Advisors.
Dar'shun breaks down the legal and strategic side of raising capital. And I think this is really good coming from a legal and attorney perspective here. When to bring in a lawyer, how to avoid common fundraising mistakes, and what entrepreneurs often overlook when structuring their business. Now, I know a lot of entrepreneurs don't want to invest in legal when starting because you're trying to count your coins and figure out where your coins need to go. But let me tell you, it is worth it. And especially this episode can help to illuminate what it is that you need to know. She really provides some practical tips for the journey. Many entrepreneurs, as we all know, really struggle when it comes to securing funding because what she mentions, you lack the right team. You might get impatient. You fail to really leverage well the networks that you have at your fingertips. So she talks about the power of building a solid support system, understanding that capital raising is a marathon, not a sprint, and using professional and personal connections strategically can really help you along your journey and increase your chances of success. Now, I mean, especially for under-resourced entrepreneurs, being intentional about relationship building. I mean, we've talked about community a lot.
Yeah.
Being intentional about relationship building and a supportive community can really, really help to move you and your business forward in ways that you may not even have imagined. And so Dar'shun, she really drops some great insights and, again, some practical tools and tips for you to be mindful of, especially in the early stages of building your business.
Yeah, and you know, she also shares her mission to help create 100 new millionaires by 2032 and what it means to build businesses rooted in equity and strategy. So if you've been tuning into this series and you want a deeper understanding of the legal foundation and the long game strategy behind capital, this episode is a must listen. It helps you think about the legal components of building your business. So once again, we hope you enjoyed this. Let's jump in.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Dar'shun. It was incredible to meet Dar'shun last year, and she has spoken to our Do Good X alumni group. She has so much insight and expertise and brings so much value to the community. And so we look forward to this conversation today and the value that you will also bring to our listeners.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Your career spans with law, with finance, and business. What initially inspired you to focus on empowering entrepreneurs, especially in raising capital?
Well, it has to be my parents. I grew up with 2 parents who owned businesses here in Georgia, in Decatur, Georgia. And I saw the struggles that they went through every day, not only just to, sort of maintain, but when they wanted to expand their businesses, they couldn't find attorneys that cared enough because they were small businesses and couldn't pay them big bucks, but also attorneys that looked like them. And so I made a decision to go to law school and specifically to help small businesses make sure that they have the resources and the people that look like them in order to be able to raise capital. So my parents are always my inspiration.
At what point should an entrepreneur and a social entrepreneur consider hiring an attorney, given the work that you do and who you work with?
Well, this is going to be obviously a biased answer, but I say as soon as possible. And the reality is that in business, everything is either going to have a financial consequence or a legal consequence or both. And so if you are trying to grow your business and stay out of court and stay out of trouble, really getting an accountant and a lawyer as soon as possible on your team is going to benefit you in the future. Yes, it's going to be upfront costs, but as I always tell people, you can either pay the cost now or you can pay the 3 times the cost later. That's one of the things that I pride myself on with my law firm is that we are starting a program that helps founders to pay an affordable price monthly and get access to our services and to our network. So as soon as you can, founders.
So when they are looking for an attorney, and I know you really focus on capital raising, and so if it's helpful to focus on that, we can go there. But when someone is looking for an attorney, an entrepreneur, what should they look for specifically in that attorney or in the law firm?
So specifically, when you're looking for an attorney that's doing the type of work that I do, capital raising, really you're looking for somebody who has a deep expertise in this. The rules change, the regulations change. It is a very niche area of law. And actually on my website, I have the 10 questions. You can download it. It's the 10 questions you should ask when hiring an attorney for capital raising. But more generally, whenever you're looking for an attorney, really what you're looking for is someone you can trust. Because we are bound by confidentiality rules, you can tell us anything. And the more that you tell us, the better that we can be. So find an attorney that you feel comfortable with and that you can trust, because this if they're doing a good job, this is going to be an ongoing, long-term, very transparent relationship. So make sure, number one, that you trust that attorney.
So I want to talk a little bit about this big goal that you have, which is to help create 100 new millionaires by 2032. Can you share with us a bit about the story behind that goal and why is it important to you to do this work?
Well, I started that goal in 2022, and I figured 100 is a good round number, 10 millionaires a year, something, that's sort of manageable. But I came up with this because I read a book called The Color of Money. And it really struck me how big the racial wealth gap is. And this was before the pandemic. Right now it's a canyon. So it's only getting worse. And I said, what can I do with my talents and my gifts in order to try to close that wealth gap? And so this was a personal and professional goal that I came up with that's sort of measurable, that I can use my talents to create millionaires through entrepreneurship. And really try to do my small part in order to try to close that wealth gap, particularly in communities that look like me.
Specifically, what are some common mistakes that you have seen entrepreneurs make when trying to secure funding?
Well, we could be here for a whole show if I listed all the mistakes, but I'll try to narrow it down. Probably the number one is not getting the right team on board. So entrepreneurs love to think they can do it on their own. And I get it, because you're probably type A like me and you're just like, I'll just do it. But when you're building a team that is going to be attractive to investors, they want to see that you have the support system to execute your idea, because no matter how good your idea is, if you don't have a team to execute it, it's just a dream. Make sure that you duly assess what you need to stand before an investor and say, I have the team to get it done. So that's the first thing. The second thing is just getting impatient. Capital raising is hard. It's just hard, y'all. It's a marathon. If you think it's a sprint, you're going to be sorely disappointed. And so you have to have some patience during this process and just get up every day and do it again. And then the last mistake that founders make really is not taking advantage of their network of people. So I always try to encourage founders, depending on the regulatory exemption that they're using, but generally I tell them to try to use like a Tupperware bowl effect. You remember when your grandmother or your mom would say, put away all the, or my mom would say, put away all the Tupperware, and we would have these bowls that fit one inside of the other, right? And so I say, start with the core, the smallest Tupperware bowl, which is your family and your friends, right? And then you just expand and ask for introductions, and you expand that Tupperware bowl. So, making good use of the connections that you already have instead of trying to go out and raise VC money. If you're able to, under the regulatory exemption you're using, start with family and friends, and then try to expand that network as you build on your business.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Danielle.
And I'm Stephen Lewis, and we're the co-founders of Do Good X.
If you are building a purpose-driven business and generating $60,000 or more annually, this fall, we have created something just for you. It's an experience designed to help you scale with clarity and support.
And so from November 6th through 8th, we're gathering a small group of underestimated, impact-focused social entrepreneurs for an intimate weekend here in Atlanta.
This is the launch of Do Good X's Mastermind community, starting with this in-person retreat. This is a chance to really decelerate from the hustle, reconnect with your inner wisdom, and align with mentors and tools to grow your business in ways that honor your values, but also your well-being.
And you'll walk away with renewed clarity, expert insights, real relationships, and an action plan to scale your impact without burning out.
And for those of you who are ready to go deeper, you'll be invited into our 6-month Mastermind experience, a coaching and education journey rooted in purpose, faith, and community.
Spots are limited, and we invite you to dogoodx.org/mastermind community to learn more and apply today.
We can't wait to welcome you to Atlanta in November. We're going to shift just a little bit. We're going to move to our resource roundup. And here we typically explore various resources and practical tools and additional tips that will equip under-resourced founders as you build your businesses. And so I want to ask you, Dar'shun, what are 1 to 2 essential resources or tools you recommend for under-resourced entrepreneurs who are seeking funding?
Well, the first website that I always give to entrepreneurs is the Securities and Exchange Commission website. Yes, it is nerdy. It's the SEC website, but they are the ones that are responsible for rules and regulations on capital raising. So whether you like it or not, the SEC needs to be your best friend. So go to www.s as in Sam, E as in Edward, V as in Victor.org. Sign up for their e-newsletters. They actually have a wonderful capital raising hub that gives you all the things you need in order to do capital raising. There's articles, there's links to different funding sources and PDFs. It's a wonderful source.
That's good. What advice would you give to early stage entrepreneurs about finding and securing resources needed to start a mission-driven organization?
So what I would do, tell them is to try and partner with somebody whose mission is similar or aligned. I don't believe in recreating the wheel, right? If there's an easier way to do it, call me lazy, but I just like to take the easier route. And so particularly with mission-driven organizations, I try to always get them to, not necessarily in a legal partnership way, but to have some feedback from an organization that's already doing similar work to what they're doing. Because if you can learn those lessons and not have to repeat them, why not, right? Particularly see what resources they're using or what they're doing and sort of what feedback it is that they have encountered. And I'm sure they can give you good insight about what to do and what not to do, specifically when it comes to capital raising, when you have a mission-driven organization. And one of the wonderful things about mission-driven organizations as well is the community that you can build around that, because you're mission-driven, right? So So I always tell my founders, if you have a mission-driven statement or company, find ways to build community and supporters around that. That can be a Facebook page, a group. That can be a Slack channel. That can be whatever. But the more that you build and solidify and repeat that mission, you're going to start creating enthusiasts and evangelists. And that's what you want, is evangelists at the end of the day.
It's good.
So I've heard from founders who have been successful with raising funds for their businesses that it was important for them to build relationships with the investors that they said yes to and who said yes to them. And so I want to hear from you, how can entrepreneurs build relationships with investors even before they're ready to pitch for funding?
There's a number of ways. One of the ways that a client of mine does that really is by doing community sort of learning events. So they will have an event, all over the nation and sort of invite potential investors to a community-based event. One of the things that has worked really, really well is to attach on to a conference. So, during the fall is conference season. So a lot of companies that are looking to get those relationships in before they have to ask them for money will go to these conferences and host a dinner, or maybe they'll host, a panel. And really that is to sort of get them to trust them, get them to like them, get them to learn a little bit more about the business. Because what you're trying to do is by the time you go to ask them for money, right, you've already cultivated this relationship with them. They remember you from a previous event. They remember that you had that panel. They remember that you added them to an e-newsletter and sent them out information about what it is that you're doing next. So, doing those touches before you ask for your first dime is really, really important. My e-newsletter is one of my favorite ways to do that. It doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be long. You don't have to do one once a week, but just making sure that you stay top of mind and that you're giving them information that's interesting to them. When you do have to ask them, they'll remember you, right? Because I'm sure they are flooded with requests. So you want to make sure you stay top of mind.
That's great. These are great resources. And if you are enjoying this conversation with Dar'shun, please be sure to check out her resources at kairoslegaladvisors.com. And if you're not quite ready for capital raising, but you're ready to build a business for good, go to dogoodx.org, explore our resources, courses, and an online community, and an accelerator that can help you on this journey.
Thank you so much, Dar'shun, for taking time out of your super busy schedule to be present with us and to share your insights, to share your expertise, to share part of your story with us and with those who are tuning in. We appreciate what you are doing for entrepreneurs and founders, and we appreciate what you are doing for our community here in Atlanta and beyond in this state as a representative. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for blazing the trail and being the trailblazer that you are. And we appreciate you. And
thank you.
The world and Atlanta enjoys it a little bit better because you made your mark. And so we thank you for the work that you do.
We hope you continue to join us. And until then, be well and
do good.
Thank you for listening to the Do Good X podcast. To continue the conversation or access our resources, visit www.dogoodx.org. Join us again for conversations that will nourish your soul, ignite your dreams, and empower you to build an impactful business, one intentional step at a time. Until then, keep striving, thriving, and doing good.